The OnePlus 6 is considered to be one of the best value for money smartphones on the market and comes with a pretty good camera setup. Now there's a new challenger in town in the form of the Poco F1, which offers a similar experience at a fraction of the price. This is Sandeep from RevAtlas. Let's see whether the F1 gives the OnePlus 6 a run for its money. The Poco F1 comes with a 12MP 1x2.55-inch Sony IMX363 sensor with f1.9 aperture, 1.4 micron pixel size, as well as the secondary 5MP depth sensor with f2 aperture and 1.12 micron pixel size. The OnePlus 6 on the other hand has two cameras of identical focal length. One is the 16MP Sony IMX519 with f1.7 aperture, OIS and 1.22 micron pixel size, while there's a secondary camera that is a 20MP Sony IMX376K with 1 micron pixel size and identical f1.7 aperture. Images shot on the OnePlus have better white balancing as the Poco has a tendency for more warmer and yellowish looking photos. The OnePlus 6 has more detailing and sharpness, but there's also more visible noise in the shots. The dynamic range is similar on both and is good, but when you want better results, you can resort to the HDR mode. The HDR algorithm is stronger on the OnePlus 6, and as a result you get images that look better with more details from the shadows as well as highlights. When the light drops, the Poco F1 performs pretty well and manages to capture better detailing with more sharpness owing to the larger pixel size. In extreme low light performance, however, the OnePlus 6 has an advantage due to a superior HDR mode. When taking photos with the regular mode, the OnePlus 6 actually performs worse. But when you take the HDR mode into consideration, the aggressive algorithm makes it capture more detailed photos with better details in the shadows as well as lower noise levels. Coming to the portrait mode, both the phones are practically identical when it comes to the edge detection, but you do see a big difference in terms of sharpness, where the portion in focus is clearly rendered on the Poco F1, but there seems to be a softness on the OnePlus 6. The dynamic range is slightly better on the OnePlus 6 when it comes to portrait shots, but the blur is stronger on the Poco F1. The front-facing camera is a 16MP Sony IMX371 with 1 micron pixel size and f2 aperture on the OnePlus 6, while there's a 20MP f2 camera with an unconventional 0.9 micron pixel size on the Poco F1. The OnePlus 6 takes more natural-looking photos with a cooler color temperature compared to the warmer tones on the Poco F1, where details are much better on the F1 that has more visible sharpness as well. The OnePlus 6 is pretty good too, but you can see that some of the sharpness is drowned out due to the aggressive noise reduction being applied. The OnePlus 6 takes photos that inherently have a shallower depth of field compared to the Poco F1. This is visible when you concentrate on the background. But when it comes to the portrait mode, the Poco F1 has an upper hand. It gets the blurring done better and also manages to retain great sharpness on the subject, while the OnePlus 6 misses the blur on certain portions and also loses out on subject sharpness. Coming to the video, the OnePlus 6 is one of the best on the market, and that's even when you take smartphones of a higher price segment into consideration. It offers 4K 60fps without EIS and a maximum of 4K 30fps with EIS. Videos are buttery smooth and have good detailing with a bitrate of around 48 megabits per second. In comparison, the Poco F1 can do 1080p 30fps with EIS and 4K 30fps without EIS. The bitrate for 4K is roughly the same on the Poco and OnePlus 6, and the detailing is good too, but there's some extra saturation added in 4K mode compared to 1080p mode. It's a shame that there's no 4K 60fps option or at least a 4K 30fps with EIS, since the processor is powerful enough to handle both. Although being software accessible things, hopefully Poco adds this with an update in the near future. The front-facing camera maxed out at 1080p 30fps again for both, but unfortunately there isn't EIS here again for Poco, and thus OnePlus 6 videos look more refined. So this is 1080p video coming from the front-facing camera of the Poco F1 at 30fps. There's no EIS on board, so you'll notice some slight shakes and jitteriness, but let me know how you guys find the sharpness, the dynamic range, the overall video quality, and even how well it's picking up my voice in this particular scenario. So this is the front-facing camera on the OnePlus 6 capturing 1080p video at 30fps with EIS enabled. Let me know what you guys think about the sharpness, the dynamic range, the video quality, and the overall stabilization since there is EIS on board. Overall, it's quite tough to pick a winner between these two smartphones. The Poco F1 has a better front-facing camera, better portrait mode, and also shots with lower noise levels. But the OnePlus 6 has a solid video shooting ability, better low-light performance, and strong HDR mode. You can't really go wrong with either one, but if video shooting is a priority, then the OnePlus 6 is the option to go with. Another thing to keep in mind is the pricing. The Poco F1 offers a lot of value for money, so in terms of bang for buck, that's definitely the better option. We'll include purchase links in the description below. Thanks for watching this video. See you again in the next one.